have any developers in here? People that build stuff, engineers? Huh? Do we have any people like customer success people? People that, interact with customers all days? Huh? I guess all of us have one thing in common. We're trying to solve a problem. And to solve a problem, you need to understand it. You can't build a good solution if you don't understand that. And I've noticed that the people, at least not in every case, the people that build the product, they're not the ones that actually talk to the customers. So today, I'm going to share a method that me and my team use to understand our customers better. I've worked at 2 startups. I used to work at FOAP. Today I work at Brisk. I've always had customer-facing roles where I've been interacting with customers, people, all days. And today I work a bit of marketing too. And so the issue is really that you don't have the context when you're about to build a product. So you have to go to the ones that actually are talking to the customers or the potential customers. And then, kind of a lot of information might disappear on the way. So the ideal thing would be to make the developers talk to the customers. But it would be kind of stressful. And the developers at Brisk, they're not that keen on joining our calls. So it would cost a lot of time. 1 hour of development, 2 hours a week, that's quite a lot, just hanging there. So that would be the ideal thing. I even heard actually about a startup that they had a red phone on the developer's desk, and when it rang, they had to pick it up. So it was like who's going to take it, because they also understood the value of everyone understanding the problem and their customers. So the solution is to talk to the customers and get everyone to listen. And I do that by recording an internal podcast. And how do I do that? It's not illegal. I'm not recording them without them knowing it. So this is what I do. As I'm always in contact with people, I look for, I call them social signals. That's like when someone writes, "What's up with the polar bears in Sweden?" or something like that. Okay, this is someone that writes one extra sentence. So that's a good person to ask. And then I ask them, okay, so can I write a blog post about you and about your company? Which is, it's publicity, right? That's always good. And also it's good for that person's ego that you ask in, because they get to be the center of attraction. And then I make sure to research and plan. So I go to their LinkedIn profile, see, did they work at a competitor before this? Or have they changed roles? Did they ever decide to change something completely else? And I look at their, what do they say that they do? For example, Atlassian, I talked to a guy there, and they say that they don't have salespeople. I'm like, that can't be true. So that was my thing that I used to really dig into during the call. And I also make sure to ask the developers, do you have any questions about this? They're in this field. Do you have anything that you would like to ask? And being prepared is a good way to show them that you're a professional and you've been investing some time in this before you're actually going to talk to them. During the call, I record them and I ask them first, and I blame my bad memory. And that's not a lie, so I'm perfectly fine with saying that. And I tell them, don't worry, because you will get to review this. So I will send you the post before it goes live. And that makes people feel like they're in control, and they can say whatever they want, because they will get the chance to remove it later. And then, you have done your research, so you have that with you, and start asking them, start digging, without don't lead them too much, because they know the really good stuff about their company. That's not what's on their profile or their company website. And then ask and be annoying, dig, ask questions, and sometimes it gets like quiet, a couple of seconds. That's when people start to say really interesting stuff because it gets a bit uncomfortable. So search for conflicts, search for like, oh, how does that make you feel? What happened? I heard you. I heard that you were like, so many people stopped working. What happened? Do you want to tell me? Do you want to share? And also, if you're in the same area, the same space, tell them about something that you're like, oh, I have that issue too, and I do that, but that doesn't work because blah. And they will start to, they notice that you can relate, and you can just bond and have a very nice conversation. And a good thing with that too is that it's not a sales conversation, so you're not expecting anything from them. Once it's ready, I trim it. I cut off the weather talk in the beginning, and it often fades out in the end too, so like the 5 last minutes, I usually cut them away too. And I publish it as a podcast for my team. And suddenly they can listen to it when they're on their bikes or at the gym. And I mean, what happens is that suddenly they get to be a part of these precious calls, but they don't have to actually be there and sit there. And I know, one guy is even speeding it up like 200%, so he's just like listening to it, just so he can participate and like get something out of it. Because, and I listen to them too, and it's just like when you've seen a movie and you rewatch it, you're like, what did I like pop popcorn or something? Because this didn't happen the first time. But it's just like your brain can't process everything, so you will notice good stuff too when you re-listen it. And afterwards, I mean, you promised them a blog post, so you have to write it, and you can go deep and you can write this really long, heavy ones, or you can just write a top list, like, oh, this is 5 ways of being a great sales leader or something like that. And if you want to make it a quick, easy blog post, just have those questions before, and so you get the stuff for your blog, so you can focus on actually understanding them after that. Transcribe, but do not do it yourself because it's super time consuming and boring. Write the post, get an okay. Don't forget to get the okay. I almost published it once because I was so satisfied. I wanted to get it out. And publish them and mention them on Twitter and stuff like that. And I mean, give them some cred. They spent 1 hour with you. And these are actually the tools that I use. So this is what we do. We go a bit deeper with the blog posts. So I ask them, they say yes, of course. I schedule a call, and I use a tool called eCam to record it. It's super easy to use. I trim it with the QuickTime player, the ones that you get on your Mac when you buy it. So you don't need to buy that. You need to buy the Mac though. And then I actually use a super cool site called JustCast. It's $5 per month. And you just, I'm not a techie person, but you just put it in a folder in my Dropbox, and I have a link on my phone, and it shows up there. So it's super easy to use. And I even think that the 3 first episodes are for free. And I'm not sponsored. And then we use a transcription service called Rev, $1 per minute, and an interview is often between 40 to 60 minutes. So I just send it away, and they give it to me. And when I do get the transcription, I send it to a copywriter. He's not in the field, so he's not really into what we're doing. But I write down a couple of, like, this is interesting, make sure to mention this, blah, blah, blah. And I create a Google Doc. He writes something, send it to me, I tweak it, give him some feedback, and then I get a really nice blog post that I publish. So what do we get? We do get a nice blog post, and this is also something, once you've made one, you can show this to the next person, because when they see, like, okay, this this is for real. They do make these interviews. It's much easier to go on and get people to jump on board. But the greatest win is that all of us takes part of the customer interaction, and we learn so much from these interviews. And I mean, because you can have the latest tools and the coolest, best developers, but if you're not understanding the real problem, you can build something pretty and super nice, but no one will ever buy it.